once again, it's your boy Triple Black, aka the number one stunner, aka the boss, aka three black purses. It's murder.
Where your gunshots?
Yeah. Okay. You already know we back. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we got Andrew Layton, a co-host. You know what I'm saying? We rebooting No Cupcake Zone.
Oh,
Oh,
that boy got the clap going on. Okay, got the aesthetics.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. You know what, man? It's been a long time coming, man. We had a couple shows and stuff like that, but we're gonna get back to the essence of of this stuff. I know you're back coaching and stuff like that. And man, tell us how's that going, man? Because
Oh,
things have
so,
changed quite a bit. Things have changed quite a bit.
yeah. Things definitely has changed, and it's been a situation that's just been a come around situation. Like a lot of these kids that's on the team now at Bishop, I trained when I first started training, so it's very, 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 very fun environment to be a part of, man. Watching these kids grow up, and then now I get the opportunity to coach them before they go off to college.
Yeah, man. But you know what, man? This is a highly the focus on the show is going to be highly controversial. You know what I'm saying? I know you got coaching, got relationships and stuff like that. I don't want to put that at jeopardy, but I don't know if it's just AI or something. It seems like the landscape of especially of youth football. We're going to talk about youth football has changed quite a bit. Uh, Before it was the little juke them that were the stars. What was it left little left shoe or whoever little juke there were the stars, but now it seems like the people that are getting most of the attention is their parents. Like this, I mean, I don't know if it's just the algorithm I'm in, but I just see a lot of parents, what I'm saying, getting into it, making posts and stuff like that. I hardly know who the players are.
Well, so I say this to say that 9 times out of 10, we are looking at the parents' profile. So in their defense, it is their profile. So, they're spreading their opinion.
Right. I mean, we knew Daddy Ball was going. I mean, but it seems like it's prevalent nowadays. I mean, like everybody is getting accused of Daddy Ball, and the thing about it is, it's for instance, when you grew up, you were a lifelong Wildcat, right?
Well, technically, no. I played. I stayed in St. Pete. It was the reason why I changed organizations was because of the movement from St. Pete to Fort Myers. So but I only played in 2 organizations, and that was because of the move when my mom, got out of prison. She took us to St. Pete. That's when I got with the Lakewood Spartans. And then, she ended up getting incarcerated again. So when she got incarcerated, we moved back to Fort Myers. And that's when I started playing with the Wildcats. So that's how that situation rolled itself out.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I'm not taking shots at people in the organizations and stuff like that, but it just seems like there's just no consistency. Like I asked a former coach, right? He
Mm.
coached a couple, and I was like, "Well, can you tell me?" Because I like, back in the day, it was a city league, and it was Pop Warner, and you had to make weight and stuff like that. He said he doesn't even know what's going on. I'm like, the Naples Bears, who are they? Is the Naples Gators still Pop Warner? It's like nobody knows what's going on. I mean, can you break that because you work with the youth organizations? Can you kind of break down the levels of what? Because I hear there's elite, there's Pop Warner, there's what was it, Indian River this, and I mean, how many different classifications is there? I mean, the thing about it, like the Naples Gators, they won um uh what's the name the national championships, and I heard people taking hot
shots.
shots at them. I was like, wonder that. Oh, that was their Division Two. I was like, damn, they're playing youth college football now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, they were Division Two. They ain't play nobody. Like, I mean, back in the day, I mean, maybe I don't want to sound old, but it used to be if you won a championship, you won the championship. They'd be like, oh yeah, you're Peace River, and y'all ain't nothing. You go to the national championship. I mean, there's like 10 national championships now.
Yeah.
Can you just
Yeah.
tell me about this? What's going on?
Well, it's one of those deals where numbers are happening, cities are growing, so they're expanding. Different leagues, different teams are popping up. Some cities need all of them, some cities don't, because some cities just need to cut it off. But like you got to understand, like each program has a roster limit. So if you're a great program and you have 250 spots, those spots get filled up pretty good, pretty quick. So now you got to understand it's a lot of kids left out. So a lot of organizations created different teams and programs, and I get that, but it's a lot of stuff going on. You got elite football, you got AYFL, you got under ranking, national rankings, you got so much stuff going on for youth football, and I think it's a great thing because it keeps the kids involved. But sometimes I think it's a little excessive because I do think you should allow kids to play different sports or even, what I'm saying, dibble and dabble in different things so they can train their muscles because, you get to a situation where if you're playing football year round, even the NFL guys don't do this. Yeah, they train, but they don't play football year round. Your body gets, mileage on it. And you don't want that wear and tear. And right now, that's the only negative part I see about what's happening in the youth football, besides, the parents getting out of hand and taking this thing too serious, is just, understanding the big picture, man. This is development football. These kids ain't going to the NFL tomorrow, And I get it right now with the NIL deal stuff coming out, and you're trying to position your kid, but it's a way to brand your kid where you're not being a snob or a butthole, and that's where I think the parents get it misconstrued.
Yeah. All right, man. I mean, you've been around Fort Myers. I've been around Naples, so I don't know what's going. I mean, in your opinion, which team matters? Because you know what I'm saying. Like, I mean, which teams matters? I see arguments. There was this ain't bowl no more, and then there's an unseasoned bowl. I mean, there is, what I'm saying. The unseasoned bowl, I think, is like the was it Venice versus something. Cape Coral or something like that. They call it the unseasoned bowl or some shit.
I don't know about all that. I don't know about all the unseasoned bowl, but
I know,
right
but
now,
is like, let's keep it in context. It's like the Firecats, for instance. Are they the old Rebels? Would you say equivalent to what the Rebels is? Are they like a stack
but
team
yes,
now?
they're one of the dominant teams in Southwest Florida. Yes, most definitely.
So Riverdale Wildcats. I mean, I know the Lehigh Raiders were pretty dominant. I mean, are they
Yeah, they
relevant
still a
still?
they're still a solid program. They got some levels.
Okay.
And this is what happens to organizations. Some levels you're gonna have that's great, and then some levels you're gonna have to build on. And that's with all programs. They got a couple dominant teams, but it's still some teams that's just not gonna make it far as the other teams. Yeah, all of them might make it to the playoffs, but it's not like we don't have a power organization from six on to 14. Nobody's just running it top dog from 6 to 14. From my
I mean, it used to be, the East Coast. I mean, the West. Was it the East? The East, yeah, the East Coast that used to, quote unquote, ratchet. Ratchet. I mean, they still there. I mean, and the thing about it is, it's like I just don't get it. Like, even over there where they have the kids in the middle, like a pregame fight, like I mean the aesthetics. I mean, do parents? Is there parents out there? Because you probably see you sit in the stands. Do they really condone this type of stuff?
Well, that I don't know because I don't sit in the stands. 9 times out of 10, if I'm at a youth game or you know what I'm saying, at a high school game, I'm usually on the sideline. Because that's one of the things I try to stay away from. I used to back in the day film from the stands when I was taking my little break, and it was just so much negativity going on in the stands, and I just choose not to be around that. You got some positive parents too, but you got the negative stuff, and I choose to put myself in the bubble so I can enjoy the game and look at it from the way I like to look at it. So when I'm at youth football games, 9 times out of 10, I'm on the sideline.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've seen everything from housewives of the Firecats versus the housewives of the ones that I mean, I've witnessed even the mamas arguing and doing all this type of stuff, dog. I mean, I'm not picking on the Wildcats organization, but that's the one that's most visible that I see on my news feed. It seems like every week, there's always, some, banter between coaches. Even in our city, there's a bunch of banter, and I mean, maybe it's just uh the social media or my algorithm, but I've never seen this before. I really never witnessed this before. Before it was, because they had the one show, what you call it, was it the Liberty City one, the little,
Yeah,
probably like 10 years ago,
Liberty City Warriors.
and yeah, that was kind of, that was
It
kind of
was
eye
man. Let
opening,
me tell you some funny stuff, man. The Liberty City Warriors. Like I would have never got the opportunity as one kid in there. I think his name was Gregory Harris. I want to say. Sorry if I mispronounced his name, but he's actually was a kid with the Chucky doll, and we actually got an opportunity to play against him, man. And he was still a stand up star. Even though
yeah.
we got the win, he did his thing. So it was good to see him and his dad, because remember his dad was the trash man that drove the trash trucks and stuff. So to
Hmm.
see him in high school after watching the Liberty City Warriors, man, that was super dope. So, but I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just wanted to add that little steal
Yeah,
in there.
I mean, it maybe is just the times, you know what I'm saying? Because when we see, because I was eye opening, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, I can't. Maybe it's just where I grew up at in Naples. I'm like, damn, a dad sitting there, blazing blazing some dro on the sideline while his son is practicing and stuff like that. That shit's kind of foreign to me. Like I never seen shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
It's just cultures, man. Like you got different cultures, and Miami is definitely, South Florida is definitely different when it comes to
Right.
how what I'm saying they conduct themselves when it comes to youth sports, and we are definitely way different from them here on the West Coast. Sometimes it's a
Hmm.
bad thing because in South Florida, I think they get to express themselves a lot. Some of the stuff I think is a little, what I'm saying, over the top because I don't condone in the smoking and stuff all on the sideline and all that. If you want to do that in your own privacy, or go in the car and blaze up. That's how I feel. Don't do it
Right.
in front of the kids. But that's their culture, man, and I don't knock nobody because they're showing up for that
I
kid.
don't knock it. I, I, I don't knock it either. It's just I don't know. It's just I've never seen it before. Like I mean, I just thought like those were like taboo things that you never ever would just see. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I mean, I remember when I was a kid. If if a parent, I mean, like like somebody see me around some that type of activity, it'll be like, man, we were kind of sheltered maybe from that type of activity, but now it's just kind of like, you know, it is what it is. Let's talk. You mentioned NIL, and because you got you got all these different platforms. Uh, I just seen a kid. because you always see those outlier kids, that are, that are like 12U and they're like 6'3", and they're like, you know, the only person that kind of I see some dude that kind of remind me of like Richard Young. Richard Young was like, he looked like Adrian Peterson versus like little boy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And maybe it's just because of the exposure now. I've seen a lot more of those, and you can tell me, because you got Baby Gronk, you got all these 20-year-old running backs. They look 21. They're 12 years old. Are they really getting these deals and offers and stuff like that, or is it just they're just making money off of social media?
That's so you just the back end of what you said is basically how they're getting deals, because what people are not understanding with the NIL deal situation is it's a separation. Yes, this kid highlight he's a great athlete on the field, but people are paying you money for the attention that comes to your page, and that mainly is social media. So you got these kids that's out here making money, just like the little kids that's playing with toys on TV, and just getting paid for their YouTube content. That's the same thing with NIL deals in sports. Just understanding how to put yourself out there so people like, follow, and share your content, and you'll have all kind of people knocking on your door to give you deals and partner up with you. They're calling it NIL deals because it's a term they use in college football when they've made this rule. But we've been doing it since social media started. Everybody, like, you see that professional dashboard on your Facebook page, that's an NIL deal, because you get paid for your name, image, and likeness, what it is on your profile, your name, your image, and what you like.
Right. I mean, let me put some shots right now.
Say what?
This landscape, I could be wrong, but in 10 years, it sounds like this is a recipe for disaster. Because A, these kids are entitled, especially if parents are making them entitled. You know what I'm saying? B, they're playing way too much football. So they're not diversifying their skill set in other ways. You know what I'm saying? You're playing 7-on-7, you're playing FBU, you're playing regular, and then there's off season. It just seems like it's too much. If you got a kid, maybe a prodigy, by the time he gets into high school, he's gonna be just self-absorbed. Imagine seeing your image all the goddamn time, like all your you've been celebrated you've been celebrated, right? And then you get to high school, right? And there's a senior and stuff like that in front of you, and then there's other players that's played JV and all this type of stuff, that's put in the work. You mean it you see it, and then they go into a program as a freshman, and they still get and then by sophomore year they're leaving, and by their senior year they're on their fourth program. All because you've been told that you're the greatest thing ever, and you get into a situation. The thing about it is, you probably, did you start as a freshman?
Yeah, on freshman.
Start as a freshman?
On freshman. Yeah, listen,
there's
I didn't play
but
varsity.
it was a.
I didn't play varsity football until I was a junior. I rode the bench. I rode the bench at the end of my sophomore year. I had the varsity, and I was up there, uniform still clean. Didn't get no dirt on it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying you guys had a pretty good football legacy over there. Anthony Henry, Dixon, and all those type people. Even after you left, there was still a good history there.
Mm-hmm.
And you made it to college football, and then you actually played pro football. Mm-hmm. So you wasn't a slouch, right? And I mean, I'm just saying, it just seems like, I mean, we're just raising puppies. Like there was very exceptional players. I can remember a handful of freshman people that played varsity. It was Clifton Robinson, like Meanius Miller. I think even he played JV. Howard Green, um, Ronaldo. I mean, there was just a handful of them, and you know what I'm saying. They were pretty good. You know what I'm saying. Dwayne Cole. I mean, it's just there were, but it seems like the expectation is to play like right out the gate. If you're not playing right out the gate on varsity or something like that, all of a sudden you're just regular. I mean, how do you feel about that? I mean, you're in a program right now to where you're gonna have to sit. You know what I'm saying? You might get that Carter Smith maybe once every 10 years. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the quarterback that you got right now, last year, was it last year he sat behind? He could have probably started like 70% of the team. I mean, of the schools, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how do you, as a coach, that's got to be a lot of pressure.
It's just it's whichever way the wind blows with these parents is cool with me. I don't want to get into how they raise their kids. I would advise for them if they're trying to put their child in the right situation, because all programs don't fit for certain kids. But if you really, really, really have that kid best interest at heart, and you got to navigate the situations and you got to make it tough on that kid, because life is tough. So if you think just because he gets in a disagreement here and it's uncomfortable here because it is, if it's something he can get over, don't take that child and move him somewhere else, because that issue is going to be everywhere. It's football, and when you come to situations like that, yeah, I get it. If you're a freshman and you have that talent and you can play varsity, great. You got the body build, great. I'm all for it. But if you don't have the body build, you don't have the size, you know what I'm saying? You might think you can. Be okay with sitting behind somebody, you know what I'm saying? Learning the game, learning the offense, learning the defense, learning the special teams. So now when you get your chance, you can play full speed. You're not out there guessing, trying to perform at a super high level, when you're not that big, when you're not that talented. Because we got some kids that's low freshmen, you got some kids that's some huge freshmen. And it's just, you just got to take what God gave you and make it work, and stop running away from adversity. That's the biggest thing with this transfer thing, that I feel like a lot of the conflict come from is, a child is running from adversity. Now, if a child is making a business decision, like in college football, and I'm going from somewhere to somewhere to make more money, I can't fault them, because then I'm sitting up here and I'm gonna be a hypocrite, because if a job calls me and asks me, and they're gonna pay me, they're gonna move me over here and pay me extra of what I'm getting paid, and it fits, I gotta make a business decision and I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I have to take care of me and my family. But you do want to build a rapport somewhere, because all money ain't good money. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of this NIL deal stuff and these kids chasing the bag, it ain't always good. You see a couple incidents with a couple players, being, disqualified and all that stuff. So just be careful. That's what I tell parents. Be careful, man, and make sure you vet the program before you take your child up, before you have to jump around. That's your gas money. That's your inconvenience. You got to think about it.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, because you're a coach now. How hard is it? Because the thing about it is people are creatures of habit. They get habit. Like taking, like, for instance, a wide receiver, right? And you coach a wide receiver. From youth football to by the time he gets to you, he's been in, let's just say conservatively, 10 systems. How do you navigate that? 10 different systems.
I don't know, bro.
Because back in the day, we used to I mean, back in the day there was like the wing tee spread. I mean, I wasn't really no spread. It was like the wing tee. It was power eye. Those basic concepts. I know why. I mean, the route trees doesn't change, but now there's just there's different verbiage and stuff like that. It's like it's like 10 different languages, and you gotta teach that person a different language. How do you do that?
Well, like most of it's just universal and just understanding how to get the kid to understand the terminology and retrain their mind all over again, because football is not going to change. You can call something this and it's still like there's nothing new under the sun. You feel me? When it comes to football, you can change stuff and variations, but we've seen it all before, because of the rules only allow you to do a certain amount of things. So just getting the kid to understand, you know what I'm saying, and just reprogramming their mind to, first of all, understand the concepts. And, because it is certain people do things certain ways, but it's still the same thing. Like, for instance, right now, everywhere I've been, the route tree was, one way. And then I come to Bishop, the route tree is totally different. And they do that for a reason. But it's not hard to learn if you understand all the concepts. It's just number changes, different terminology. And, you get those kids up to speed on that, because the game, at that time, we really want to have kids in high school. It doesn't happen like this 80% of the time. But 20% of the time, when you have a kid that's been brought up in youth football, that's been developed well, they usually know the route tree. So as a receiver coach, it's not hard to teach them. It's the kids that hasn't been developed, that hasn't been taught a route tree at all. That's where the problem lies. And that's where more attention, you get in practice early, you stay out the practice late with them a little bit, just to, get them up to date. But football is the same, my guy. It's just people use different terms.
Different
formations to get the same results.
But you're a coach. You can kind of formulate that in your mind. I'm just looking at it from and I'm mostly talking to the parents that like to jump from program to program to program. Because maybe I'm just the old guy in the building. I mean, whatever. But I remember in youth football, might to the seniors, same system. Freshman to senior, same system. Some programs even had a homegrown to where from Mighty Mites all up to where when you get into high school, the same system, right? But it's really gotta be very tough to get some type of consistency to where even if you're in football, I heard in youth football, there might be 5 different systems. Each has their own philosophy, whatever. And then, that's got to be tough on a kid. That's got to be tough on a kid.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. So just right now, realizing it's very hard to get, that feeder program where you're doing all that stuff, because first of all, coaches in Florida don't get paid enough. So you done spent all your time, coaching and preparing for Friday night's game. Saturday, you just trying to unplug and unwind because you broke. And then if you got to go to that youth game, you're going to at least have to bring 40 because you're going to have to get you something to eat. And, you're going to have to get in the game, you know what I'm talking about? And then you're going to see a little juke that need a little icy. He got there sweating hot and you just going to, So it's just one of those situations, man. Like, it's very hard. And I think it's in the perfect world, that's how it should be, to make it easier for the kids to develop. But, that's not how it is, man, because of the disconnect. I see a lot in Southwest Florida from the youth to the high school level with the coaching standpoint.
Is it focused on the kids, though? I mean, opinion, because I remember we had this discussion before. Is it about the kids? I mean, if you like just say if you were on the outside looking in and you seen like I guess a micro like if you just saw social media, do you think it was about the kids?
Yeah, it's always about the kid. It's always about the kid, but sometimes it's about their kid and them living through their kid. But it's always about the kid
Right.
some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
it's a beautiful thing when it's about the kids and you're doing right by the kids and you letting that kid be that kid. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. But when it's about that kid and you trying to live through that kid because you wasn't nothing in high school, that's when the problem lies.
Comes out. Now, last subject, we've been on here for a little bit, but the thing I want to talk about, and this is kind of a nuanced thing, it's in youth football, you're doing that moving around and stuff like that. Think about it, right? You had some best friends growing up and stuff, right? Growing up, right? That you guys always played with each other and all this type of stuff. How weird is it? And you got to think it from a peers perspective. Motherfuckers are playing their like with cousins and stuff like that. They all play on the same football team, but people are playing their best friend that's on the other team now because of the movement and stuff like that. I mean, from a social perspective, how do you think that's affecting the kids though? Because how can you really relationships with people when you're in this competitive arena? Because you guys grew up together. Next
Your
thing
mic
you know,
keep going in and out, bro.
My mic keep going in and out.
Yeah,
can you hear me?
They've been doing that the whole conversation.
Oh man, you should have told me, man. I probably should have.
It's doing it again.
Stay closer to the mic. Can you hear me?
It's doing it. We'll figure that.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. But once you keep on talking and
you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you clear.
Okay. It must have been working. But no, what I was saying is can you talk about the social aspect with these kids and stuff like that? How do they maintain and cultivate relationships like just in real life? Because they're programmed so much on the team, brothers on the team, but now you might have a brother playing a brother or a best friend playing another best friend, on a different program and stuff like that. I mean, that's got kind of. I mean, especially in the competitive arena, it's like how do you maintain relationship with your moving programs and going at each other all the time? How do you do that?
Well, it's like I think you seeing it a different way because this has always been happening. Like I'm gonna just use myself for instance. I played Riverdale Wildcats, and most of the guys on my team went to Riverdale High School. I went to Riverdale High School for 2 weeks. Then my mom got out, so I moved back to the project, so they sent me into a stereo. Did I lose those friendships? No. My cousin, like my brother I grew up with, we stayed in the same house. I had to play against him. All my homeboys from that neighborhood, I had to play against them. And it was competition on the field because it was just like playing kill the carrier when we was in the side field. Like you still don't take no, what I'm saying? But I think I always think it's a good thing, to meet new people, network, and learn from different folks. Because at the end of the day, no two people are the same. And then sometimes you can have one person liking the school and then the other person don't like the school. And it's just vibes, man. And I just feel like kids should go where they feel comfortable and stay there, period. And play ball, build, friendships, and understand this is a game at the end of the day. Period. It got a clock on it, it ends. So at the end of the day, man, I'll holler at you on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna compete in between these whistles.
Yeah.
You feel me? And you're gonna be my enemy in between these whistles. Okay, put it like this. It's like Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. You feel what I'm saying? They're gonna kill each other in the ring. You know what I'm saying? They homies, they talk, they chill, we talk, you know what I'm saying? And that's just having a competitive nature, man. And I don't see nothing wrong with it. I think it helps the culture. And plus, we are like back in the day, we didn't have this many people in Southwest Florida. You feel what I'm saying? We didn't have this many schools in Southwest Florida. Now you got so many schools. Literally, one kid can stay with one parent and they go to a whole totally different school. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
You know what? We're gonna end this show on another topic that I definitely want to talk about. I think it's called football catfishing, because you work with AI, and there is some wonders that you can do with AI, right? And I've heard this quite a bit, right? You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, man, this kid looks great. He looks awesome. And then you'll have somebody like, man, you just don't know. You just don't know. You're seeing that 50-yard touchdown, but you haven't seen this piss poor work ethic. You haven't seen all the plays that he take off. Because the thing about it is, you can, like, with AI and the technology and the highlights and all these type of stuff, you can make a person look like Reggie Bush if you wanted to.
But my thing is,
they can be more like. Go ahead.
You gotta realize, bro, film don't lie. So if I'm gonna invest in this kid and I'm gonna say to the kid, I need the whole game. I don't need 1-2 clips. Let me analyze this. So if I'm gonna sit up and recruit the kid, if I was a recruiter, and that's what people don't understand. Like when you on Twitter and you know what I'm saying, you put your huddle link up there, and that's the interest that the coaches take into you. Mm-hmm. Oh, they're gonna do their research because they got a job to do, and they ain't trying to get fired because they bring on a lemon because they think just because your highlights good. No, your highlights is to get their attention to stop, and then they will request game film from coaches and go watch the whole game and see how you perform the whole game. And I'm on my receivers heavy because I got some young guys that take breaks. They dogs when it comes to passing. They're gonna run 130. But as soon as you say run play, they coming off the ball slow. Like I told them, it's selfish as hell, man. And we get better at it, and they're starting to understand it, because I don't want a college coach to come to a game and be looking at one of my players and say, man, I wanted that kid, but he don't go all out the whole game. We can't do nothing with that. I want him to come and be like, man, listen, this kid is good and he don't stop. You know what I'm saying? And I tell my kids, you're gonna lose some, you're gonna win some, because it's a lot of, you're gonna get some holding calls, you're gonna miss some blocks, you're gonna get some good blocks, you're gonna make some great catches, you're gonna run some great routes, you're gonna get locked up. But who can win the most reps? Point, period, blank. And you got to do it 110. So when you talking about these little highlight tapes and making little juke look good, keep doing your thing. Just make sure y'all have some proof behind that pudding. Boil it, ball.
Hey man, but on this note, I mean, talk about your because you've been in development with this app, that kind of gives coaches competitive edge. I don't know if it's into market yet. Can you talk about that, and how if I'm a novice coach, or what I'm saying, I just, my kid just got a football playing age, how can this app help me? Because there's people that's never played football and stuff like that are coaching now, so
so basically
talk about it.
I had some experiences of taking a whole bunch of L's when it came to coaching youth football and high school football lately, and dove into AI, and we generated an app that will help youth coaches develop players and put together practice plans, playbooks, practice scouting reports, video analyzer. And this is an app that just helps, you know what I'm saying, the everyday dad, mom, or whoever, you know, wants to coach football or any sport, because it's a coach's app, to be able to put together this stuff that I know you need to be a success in a program. Because if you don't have these bare necessities, it will go wrong. And a lot of us don't know the bare necessities. I can be one to first admit, my first head coaching job, I didn't know what the Sam hell I was doing. So, you know, this app comes from experience, man. So if you that head coach that just got this job, you a mom that said, you know what, I'm gonna go out and help the team, Coach Core will be dropping in the spring of 2026. Make sure you download it. It'll be free access. We'll have a paid plan as well with the upgraded features. But this app will help you help little Timmy when he get to high school be better, because I'm tired, boss, with this youth football development. Sheesh.
Hey man, but anyways, but I saw. I mean, he sent me when they were in beta version, and I was like, damn, this is crazy. I mean, it was in testing mode, and I was just like, so you mean to tell me I can just type in this thing right here and just get their tendencies? You know what I'm saying? Who they're, you know, what to look out for. You get a whole scouting report on there. I mean, back in the day, you had to go and scout and do a whole. I mean, a scouting report probably might take you a couple days, but boom,
voila,
right there, you got their tendencies, you got that, blah blah. You know what I'm saying? Their plays, and I mean, not their plays, you know what they like to do. You know, watch for this and what. I mean, what you guys see, it's amazing. It's amazing.
I appreciate it, bro.
Anyways, man, I mean, yeah. And we're rebooting No Cupcake Zone, so you know we're gonna be here on I'm my name is Triple Black. I'm darkness. I'm all about tackling subjects that people won't go near, and Ratchet Football was one that, you know, a lot of people don't want to go near, but you know, next week we'll have another one that we're gonna dive into. Okay.
10-4, my boy.
Man.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Hey, thank you so much for coming on, man. We'll see you next week.
For sure. Yeah, bro. Your audio is